We're here basically to celebrate the advances our charity has made this year. As you know, I'm Don Werner, a board member and a very close friend of Irwin's for a long time. We're like brothers. So this is a delight for me to be able to host this luncheon. To start with the celebration, I'd like to introduce, for those who haven't met, Stephen Abrams, the mayor of Palm Beach County, commissioners, and former mayor of the city of Boca Raton. We're delighted to have you here. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure. Second, I'd like to introduce Dick Schmidt, the founder of the various Schmidt companies and Schmidt Family Foundation. Dick has been a continuous supporter of Vets Helping Heroes, and we thank him for all he's done and continues to do to support our veteran efforts. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. We really appreciate it. I think everybody has met all the board members, I think, from our just standalone conversations, but I do want to introduce a very important person to us. First of all, Irwin Stovroff and Doris Tamarkin, his significant other. So let's give him a round of applause. He's the man of the hour. Second, Pat Levinson is our executive director and a board member, and she's the one person. He's the man who actually generates the money. He goes out and he speaks all over the United States and has been very successful on national television, as you all know, and has been very successful in really raising the funds that we need to train these service dogs. Pat is the executive director, and she, as a single person in the organization, really has created a wonderful success for our charity. And we want to thank Pat for all the hard work you've done.
Well, it's great to be here to help you celebrate Irwin's successes with the organization. I met Irwin first when the World War II planes came to Boca Raton, the B-17s, were they? 24s. And when I was mayor of Boca Raton, so I used to go out there with the school kids. And frankly, I always felt I got a better education, and the adults that were with me, probably of my era, got a better education than the school children did, or just as good an education, because these are just stories that came alive, that really brought it home as to the bravery that you and your compatriots demonstrated during the war, flying those bombers. And yet, for all the heroism of that, sometimes I think it's more heroic what you're doing now in imparting all this to the community. So we on the board wanted to commemorate that, and so we prepared a certificate of commendation to Irwin Stovroff, and I'll be honored to read it. For his lifelong service to his country, Irwin, a World War II hero, was a B-24 bombardier when he was shot down, captured, and held as a prisoner of war by the enemy. For the past 15 years, Irwin has worked tirelessly and passionately with the local Veterans Administration, providing aid to returning veterans suffering from PTSD, brain and other war injuries. In 2006, Irwin founded the Vets Helping Heroes program, which provides service dogs to wounded veterans, and to date, more than 70 dogs have been trained and provided to veterans throughout the nation. We are proud to honor him for his heroism and unwavering dedication to our country, community, and veterans on this 22nd day of April 2013, and it is signed by all 7 of the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners. So, Irwin, congratulations.
We all appreciate your being here and arranging for that proclamation. It was great. Next, I'd like to invite Congressman Ted Deutch, our local hero here, to make a presentation. And for anybody who didn't meet Wendy Lipsick, that's Wendy. There's, I forget your exact title. District Director. Okay. So Ted, if you'd like to speak.
Sure, thanks. Thanks, Don. District Director. A lot of people who know Wendy call her the brains of the organization. Don, thanks. It's an honor for me to be here with you and with the board members, with Mayor Abrams, and Doris, with you, as we honor Irwin. I have a presentation too, but I just wanted to make one observation. I think with all of the frustration that people feel these days, rightly so, about the United States Congress, there is one issue that we deal with that really does unite members of the House and Senate, Democrats and Republicans, and that's support for the men and women who serve our country and continuing that support for our veterans upon their return. There is a great honor that I have in representing District 21 in the United States House of Representatives, because that feeling of commitment to our veterans that's felt throughout the whole Congress is one that I feel every day, privileged as I am to represent so many veterans from World War II and Korea and Vietnam, and through all of our conflicts right through today. I'm really blessed to represent such a large number of people who have served our country. I tell people all the time that as the son of a World War II veteran who earned a Purple Heart in the Battle of the Bulge, that the work that those of us who are privileged to serve the public in elected office, the work that we do is the way that we choose to engage and to make our patriotism relevant, and it pales in comparison to the sacrifice and the service of the people who have served our country so bravely. And Irwin, there's no one in the district, there's no one that I know who epitomizes all that is great about our veterans and the men and women who serve as you. It's true in your heroic record in service, and it's true, as Steve said, so much so, in ways even more, your heroic commitment to the community, your commitment to the men and women who serve, your commitment to our veterans, and the work that you do to help the returning heroes who need some greater assistance that a dog can provide. You've educated me on this issue. You've helped. You and Cash helped me understand why this issue matters so much, and what can be done to help the brave men and women who need some assistance get that help from the companionship of a dog. And you train these dogs now that go out and can provide that kind of support for veterans all over the country. We owe you an enormous debt of gratitude for the heroism that you've shown at every step in your life, every single stage. And it's an honor for me to be here to help celebrate that here. So I have a statement from the House of Representatives from the Congressional Record honoring Irwin Stovroff. This was from March 18th, and I'll just read it as I did. I rise today in honor of Second Lieutenant U.S. Air Force Irwin Stovroff, retired, a distinguished World War II veteran residing in Boca Raton, Florida. As an American bombardier, Irwin Stovroff flew 35 missions into enemy territory. and was shot down and taken prisoner during his last mission. As a Jewish POW in Nazi camps, he escaped death twice, including once by an SS officer who had been on his paper route in his hometown of Buffalo, New York. After his brave service in our military, Irwin has continued to serve our nation by helping fellow veterans returning from war adjust to civilian life. When he learned that soldiers in need of assistance dogs were not receiving them, he founded the organization Vets Helping Heroes, which raises money to struggling heroes with the service dogs, provide the service dogs that they need. With roadside explosives, suicide bombings, and other attacks unique to modern combat, leaving many of our veterans with physical injuries and psychological trauma, the dogs offered by Vets Helping Heroes help them overcome and deal with these burdens. The dogs receive special training to assist the vision impaired, detect the onset of seizures, prevent oncoming panic attacks, and call for help in cases of emergency. Though their success in mitigating and even curing post-traumatic stress is still under study, the accolades from veterans who say they owe their lives to their service dogs indicates their incredible promise. At 90 years old, I had my staff check that since I didn't believe it. Mr. Stovroff shows no signs of winding down his efforts to improve the lives of our veterans. In fact, he is even preparing to expand Vets Helping Heroes fundraising efforts and awareness campaigns. As a member of Congress, I'm grateful for Irwin Stovroff's tireless work on behalf of our men and women in uniform, and will continue to support the expanded availability of service dogs to our veterans in need, and that is presented by me. I spend most of my days when I'm in the district going from meeting to meeting and talking to groups and meeting my constituents. The opportunity for me to spend time here, Irwin, honoring you and the great work that you do and the incredible work you've done throughout your lifetime is one of the great privileges that I have serving in Congress. So thank you very much for sharing this wonderful day and giving me the opportunity to help honor you. Thanks.
Wow is right. I have one additional. First of all, I want to thank Congressman Deutch for being here with Wendy and for presenting this marvelous proclamation in honor of Irwin. It is really a treat for all of us to have you as our congressman, and it's a special treat to have you here today. We really appreciate what you accomplished here, and I know it wasn't easy to do. We had some discussion with the office of the mayor of Boca Raton, and I have here a certificate I'd like to read to you from Mayor Winchell. The city of Boca Raton has a proclamation. Whereas non-agrarian Irwin Stovroff, a World War II veteran and survivor of a Nazi prison camp, has focused his energy on helping his fellow veterans, and whereas in 2006, Irwin responded to a disabled veteran's need for a service dog by founding Vets Helping Heroes, and whereas Vets Helping Heroes is a nonprofit organization raising funds to sponsor the training of assistance dogs for disabled American veterans and active duty military personnel, and whereas it is fitting to honor Irwin Stovroff, a man who selfishly continues to support those in the military community. Now, therefore, I, Susan Weschel, Mayor of the City of Boca Raton, Florida, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2013, Irwin Stovroff Day, in Boca Raton in recognition of his dedication to the heroes who have sacrificed so much for all Americans. Signed by Mayor Susan Wenchel, April 22nd, 2013.
Oh, Donald. I have to get another house for a wall to put this on.
So congratulations.
Oh, man, you've done it.
Well, Irwin, it's probably now your turn to say a few words. But before we do that, I think it would be apropos if some of the board members who have served on the board for a long time made some comments about their experience with Vets Helping Heroes and also their association with Irwin. So, Dr. Sam, would you like to start?
I didn't expect to be making comments. I just have to say that Irwin completed a journey for me. I was very involved with some activities because of my own desire to thank his generation for what they've done for us. And obviously, had we lost that war, many of us in this room wouldn't be here. And I met Mel. And because we were expanding our efforts to thank our Vietnam vets, and Mel said, "You've got to meet Irwin." And I knew I was meeting a very, very special man in about the first 20 seconds. And I think much of what I have to say speaks to what Ted has already said. But I think the thing about Irwin that is so unique, because I meet so many veterans and so many people whose pivotal events in their lives occurred during the war. And they've lived their lives dealing with their experiences in the war. This is a man who's never stopped serving his country. He just never has stopped. When he wasn't actively in the service, and when he returned home after being a prisoner of war, his efforts moved to being sure that the other prisoners of war got their benefits, got what they needed, was up at the VA serving endlessly. And then at a point in his life when most of us are preparing to sit back on our laurels and our benefits, he just has kept going. So I could not possibly have more admiration. I am so honored to have met him and to call him a close friend, and I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm very honored that you're in our life and to be part of this enormous and wonderful task that you've taken on and will for a long time, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for letting me say that publicly.
Now I think it'd be appropriate for Paul Barreto to come up. He's been with the organization, I believe, since the beginning, right?
About a year into it.
About a year into it. But you certainly have a lot of experience and a lot of association with our hero. So,
Hi, my name is Paul Barreto, and I met Irwin about 6 years ago. I had come down here, and I just retired as an airline pilot, and I was one of the 3 military people that was at an event at the, I guess it was the Boca Pilot Association, and I was a former commander of a carrier as a reservist, and we were given a carrier brief to the civilians that weren't quite sure, or they wanted to learn more about carrier aviation. And after the brief, Irwin came up to me, this older gent came up to me and introduced himself and told me that what he was doing, him and Jerry Kramer at the time. And I started thinking about it, and my son-in-law at the time was in Afghanistan. And Irwin kind of explained to me that he was out helping the kids that were losing limbs and had PTSD and TBI problems. And I went home and discussed with my wife and said, you know, I really want to get involved in this. This is a great, great thing. However, I don't know about Irwin. because he's so dogmatic, and he's such a man that convinces you right away that you want to work for him. And it didn't take long. I came on board, and Irwin has been nothing but a charmer to everybody. Doris knows that. He is an excellent, excellent individual and very, very, very good at what he does. So Irwin, thank you for what you do. Thank the veterans, thank you. I mean, the kids that we get dogs for really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. And Sam, thank you for your wonderful words. So we have another hero in our midst. Where is he? Hello, Mel. Mel Pollock from Delray Beach, Florida. And I'm sure he has some choice words for Irwin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My comments will be slightly different than the two previous speakers. I met Irwin 22, 23, 24 years ago through the Boca Pilots organization, and while he was the American ex-POW service guy at the VA. And we started talking, and I'm a Vietnam-era Air Force fighter pilot who got shot down on the 78th mission, and Irwin is a World War II bombardier who got shot down on his 30th mission. And I asked Irwin a question: which prison camp were you in? He said, Stalag Luft 1, which is in Barth, Germany. I said, did you know a guy named Hap Galfand, my uncle, who was a B-17 pilot in World War II? Believe it or not, and according to the web it's true, they were cellmates in Stalag Luft 1. My uncle had the bunk above Irwin. You talk about a small world. And so we became friends then, and through aviation interests, and then, as Paul mentioned, at the Boca Pilots when we talked about it, and Irwin got together this Vets Helping Heroes. And I've been involved with it, I think, pretty much since the beginning. And all I can say is, Irwin, you've done a phenomenal job. We love you, and we're going to keep up all the good work. Thank you for everything.
It's amazing I hugged his uncle in prison camp.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? Had the bunk right above me.
Well, I think we've had a very nice luncheon and some very interesting presentations and talks. But now I'd like the man of the hour to stand up here and say a couple of words. Irwin, come on up here. And
Well, normally it's very easy for me to make a speech, but this is very tough. I'm overwhelmed, but I'll overcome that too. I have to say, to start off with, that there's a lady that's writing a book about me. I don't know what the hell she's writing. But she is doing a story, and it's really great. And it's the true thing of my life, because the name of the book is Gone to the Dogs. And I really have. And, but the important thing is nobody can do anything like this alone. I'm getting a lot of credit. It was a lot of ideas that I had. I was fortunate enough, and I consider myself the luckiest guy that you'll ever meet. Lucky in my own life, lucky in what happened to me, lucky in the fact that I was able to do what I wanted to do, was to fly, lucky that I went to England and not the Pacific, lucky that I did fly 35 missions, unlucky that I did get shot down. But I think, as I look back at that maybe it did make a better man out of me, because I saw what happened. I saw what other people had suffered through. I know that I never forgot it. I never will. I think that's what made me do what I did. When I retired at 75, I decided that, yes, I belong here. It's great, the golf, the tennis. But, you know, the golf pro told me to quit, so I quit. My lobs were lousy. They weren't getting over the net. So I knew I had to do something different. And for some reason, I went to the VA. And it was there that really and truly my second life started. And my second life was working with other veterans. My partner and I took care of, as National Service officers, we took care of over 400 ex-prisoners of war and got 99% of them a full pension. And unfortunately, there are not too many around now. But in '06, when the director of the hospital called me and said, we're going to have a meeting, we'd like to have you come, Irwin, because we know the POWs are not showing up like they did. And that's when she told me that our government did not have any funds and was not doing anything as far as dogs for our veterans. And that's when I decided, here you go, be lucky again, get involved. And the story has been told, and when I look around here at my friends that but this one here that has put me away today, that's for damn sure. When I look around and I realize how lucky I really am again because of Paul and Sam and Charlie, my board, Don, Mel, and this gentleman here who has helped us right from the beginning. And then I had Ron Klein, who was such a great guy, and he helped us. And we did get $5 million. And my dear friend, the Congressman, can I call you Ted? He's chasing that $5 million to see where the hell it is. And sure enough, before we're through, we're going to get something done. We're going to get something done. I can only tell you this is one of the biggest surprises I've had. And I love to get up. I love to talk. I'll go anywhere. Have dog, we'll travel. And the one other thing that also made my life so great was Doris. And fortunately, through her and her wonderful relatives that are involved in communications, we've been on television quite a bit, and we've done very well on television. And we're now seeking to see if we can get on CNN, because I think that's the one way that when people say, it's great what you're doing, but you know, I have one advantage that nobody else has in this room. I'm 90 years old. And when you get up and you say I'm 90 and I'm working like hell to be sure these kids are taken care of when they come back, I mean, that is the goal in my life. And you all have really and truly helped me, and we're going to go further, believe me. And all I can say is I better stop right now. Thank you.
Well, this has been a wonderful luncheon, and I want to thank everybody for coming and presenting and enjoying the stories about Vets Helping Heroes and of Irwin Stovroff and the success that Pat has helped us achieve in the recent years. So thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to a successful future of fundraising so we can be able to train more dogs and help more service people in need. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's give a round of applause, a standing round of applause to Irwin Stovroff on Irwin Stovroff Day. Hey!